Hello, party people. Hope you're having a good day. I'm trying to do my best with all the extra sugar I accidentally put in my coffee. 2 spoonfuls instead of 1. Woo, I'm halfway wired. No, I'm not doing too bad. But it is significantly sweeter than I'm used to. Let's see. Make sure I'm live on Rumble. I do, in fact, appear to be. Well, maybe I'm not. Give me just a moment. Make sure everything's right. Sort out my hood, because that's a little high on the back of my head. Ah, that's better. And, yeah, if you're reading the back of my hand, which would be a hell of an impressive feat from that distance on that camera, it actually does read hoodie, because I do need to pick up a new one. I tore one up yesterday. Okay, so yeah, let's get into this. Let's start with the old 6 Emperor Mentalist. Oh yeah, it helps if I bring up the browser. Too much sugar. Oh yeah, way too much sugar. Oh, in any case, we'll start as we always do with 6 Emperor Mentalis. Thus always to dickheads. Today, well, we've got Pakistani morons. Sorry, Pakistani dickheads. Catching dickhead rewards. So this is listed as 4 friends in Pakistan speeding backwards, and they lose control. Now I have no idea if this music will be copyrighted. I do know that that's bad. And right there is someone's flip-flop. Yeah. It is nice to see people immediately running to help. This fellow was clearly thrown from the vehicle and is now walking back because nothing protects fools and young children like luck. Yeah. I sincerely do hope they're all okay, but I sincerely hope they all have learned a lesson. Moving on. What is this one? Yeah. Pause this one. Now, this is one I have covered before, and there is an update at the end. So we'll go through this a little bit quick. So this is In a World of Karens, Big and Allen.
My car's literally broken down.
You shouldn't really be here. You'll need to move.
But I can't move the car.
My boyfriend's going to be coming in.
Okay, I don't know if this chick is drunk, or just a cunt, or what, but dear God, lady, the guy just told you the car is broken down.
20 minutes.
Now, I'm fairly certain it wasn't the cameraman laughing, but, yeah, Alan, being a nice fella, comes over and says, what's the problem?
But buddy, my car is broken down. I'm just saying.
Talking rubbish.
That's a warning light, son.
Yeah, no,
It's
but-
not started.
No, it's not. It's not.
Just press the button, see if it starts.
Look.
Don't encourage him.
It's
Don't
broken
encourage him.
down.
He's talking rubbish, Alan. He's talking rubbish. He's parked outside your house, Alan.
It's not parked, it's broken down.
You find this all amusing, are you?
I take it back. It is probably... also, don't call yourself a victim. You're not a victim. You're... definitely not a victim. She's a victim. Probably of alcoholism from the looks of her. But, yeah. I like Alan. Definitely liking Alan.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
You're ganging up on me now.
No, we're not.
Is it because I'm a...
Alan!
It's absolutely because you're a woman. So apparently this is days later. I haven't seen this part of the video before. I came across this, I think yesterday or the day before when I was flicking through X. And, yeah.
Do you remember me? I do. Got your car fixed then.
Where is she now?
She had to go.
She had to go. Because she was a bitch.
After that little incident with you, she was a nightmare.
Yeah, I can only imagine what she was like to live with. If she's that suspicious all the time.
How are you now?
I'm fine. Absolutely fine now. Much better. I can do what I like. And thanks for what you did for me.
Yeah. Funny thing that some random stranger did him more of a favor than his own girlfriend. Or more good than his own girlfriend. Yeah. It is nice to see people doing things like that, and it's also nice to see dickheads like that woman get what she had coming to her. Speaking of dickheaded women, who are probably going to get what's coming to them, this contractor in Minnesota, this is from Polly Chipola, bubble bath girl. Interesting choice, Paul. Contractor in Minnesota fears she'll now go out of business because of mass deportations. Listen to how she and the reporter dance around the issue that hiring illegals was wrong, and she now deserves to fail. She says she's been in business for 15 years. Has she been hiring illegals this whole time? Seems like it'd be a crime. I'm pretty sure it used to be. I don't know when it stopped being one. In fact, I think I did respond, but that comment is probably buried at this point. What do we got here? Oh, I thought that was Trudeau. Is that... Oh, yeah, that's Jacob Fry. No, thanks. I'm good. So we'll see what this chick has to say. And we'll give our honest opinion afterward, of course. This is apparently... Excuse me. Very sorry. That had to go. This is WCCO, which I assume is a local news station.
We are behind, and we're one of many companies quite behind.
Maybe if you saved on the lip fillers?
Several weeks behind.
As her subcontractors are faced with this daily question with ICE in the community.
Are you comfortable going to work?
The answer, increasingly, is no.
Now, why would contractor employees, laborers, not feel comfortable going to work with ICE in the community? What could possibly be the reason for that? Yeah.
As more are detained at or on their way to work.
How do I guarantee you that just because you've done things through due process, that if you show up to work today, nothing's going to happen to you?
Whoa, hang on. Let's put a hammer right on that idea there of due process. If they had done things through due process, they wouldn't be getting detained. Well, they might get detained, but they wouldn't get deported. If it's that much of a concern, rent your ass a bus and go and collect your employees in the morning yourself.
You can't. We can't.
And while her customers are understanding, work,
which they shouldn't be,
has nearly stopped. Cash flow doesn't add up, and she fears after 15 years in business, this will be her last.
Those are not cheap nails either.
We don't have very many crews working at all right now, but the ones...
I'm going to point out that she may run a contracting company, but she clearly doesn't do any contracting. With those nails, no.
That we do are taking risk. When it happens to someone you know and care about, it means something different.
I also suspect this is the first time she's worn a high-vis vest in a very long time.
But I know I'm far from the only one in the situation that I...
Yeah, that's quite the nice costume you put on for this particular video shoot, ma'am. But real contractors wear actual work boots that look like work boots, and they don't wear their overalls down past their toes, especially in dirty snow. Nice try, though.
I'm genuinely very afraid of what's going to happen.
I assume building will slow, costs for these services will go up. Do you think that's fair to say?
Yes.
Yes, because when you stop using illegal labor, you actually have to pay a fair wage.
What I'm hopeful for is that we can all come together and work together to...
Oh, no. See, here's the problem. You decided to hire illegals. When you did that, you told everybody else in your industry you didn't give a fuck how you made your money. You would do it by hook or by crook.
To make this process safer and more efficient. How do we protect the people that we need to protect?
What, your illegal migrant workers? You don't need to protect them. They knew the risks when they decided to jump the border or whatever method they used to get into your country. Fuck them.
It's just not that simple anymore.
And And let's see. Yeah. Okay, I read that. Stop hiring illegals, asshole. Hire Americans, problem solved. She should go to prison. Potentially. She should certainly face significant fines. Now, there's a few stories here involving children. This is still in Sic Semper Mentalis, but these are ones that make you go, how do you solve this problem? And for this one, this is from the Disrespected Trucker, and he asks, is what happens here justified? Well, let's find out. So here's what's happening. You see the kids throw a ball and yell, "You fucking creep. Get out of here, you fucking creep." Okay. Initially, if that was all you knew about this video, you'd think maybe that little boy is a bit of a hero. Not so much.
What the? This man notices a small bike lying in the middle of the road and tells two kids, "Hey, your bike is in the road." Instead.
Okay, so he's driving, the bike's in the road, and it is in the lane. It's in the way. And it's unsafe. It's very stupid to leave a bike in the road. And the child's response is
the kids
this.
get angry over the comment and react badly.
Get out of here, you.
What the? Then the situation takes a crazy turn.
And the guy just drives over it.
The man drives his car over the bike, crushing it, and says something to the kids afterward that leaves everyone stunned.
Now, the question becomes, why are the kids all the way out here? That's some distance from where they were with the basketball. So I'm going to actually scroll back and see if there's a basketball hoop anywhere in that video. I don't see one. So is this... what do you figure that is? In any case, he does say this afterwards, which I think is a bit low.
Says something to the kids afterward that leaves everyone stunned.
Have fun walking, nerd.
Now, that part, the have fun walking nerds, that's a bit ignorant. However...
learn how to respect your elders.
that isn't.
What? Get out of here.
Yeah. Was it wrong for him to damage the property? Yeah. Will it teach the kids a valuable lesson? Fuck yes. So, yeah. And it's not just that they should have been respecting their elders, which they absolutely should have. What that kid is about to do is technically assault. Or, if you're in the States, assault and battery. But that said, if they don't value the things that you give them, then they will end up losing them.
What the? This man notices a...
Let me see, what's down here? He says justified, or Yaya Patriot says justified in any case. Absolutely, however, given their attitude, I don't think the parents will be using this encounter to teach the correct lesson. Instead, they'll most likely reinforce the entitled victimhood these kids are suffering from. That's assuming, of course, that the parents have any idea of what actually happened. What's more likely to happen is the kids will lie and say, oh, he ran over our bike. And the kids' parents might not ever even ask, well, where was the bike that he could run it over? Yeah. Crushed it. I don't understand the level of disrespect. I interrupted some kids in wrestling practice to help me move some tables. They said, yes, ma'am, followed my instructions. Kids should respect adults. Absolutely. Adults should earn respect, and running over a bike is just childish. No. You had me in the first part. But adults should earn respect? No. No. We need children to automatically respect adults because sometimes kids who aren't ours need to obey us immediately. Generally when they need help. Not justified. The kids have been taught stranger danger. The boy called him a creeper, so I don't know why they bleeped it out, and no idea why what he thought the ball would do. LOL. Anyway, the bike was awfully close to his stopped car. He may have only been trying to help, I know, but in no way should he have expected them to get that close to him to get the bike right away. Yes, he should have. He had every right to. Now, if he got out of the vehicle, that's a different story. But there's nothing there to make you suspect that. Immediate consequences to their actions is exactly the lessons needed, or else they won't associate the punishment with the crime. Yes. Yep, he asked them to move it. It shouldn't have been in the road in the first place. Very true. If they were afraid of him throwing a basketball was not the appropriate response, that wasn't fair, that it was entitled dicketry. I believe what the word you're looking for is dickheadishness. But yeah. If your kids are going to act like dickheads, and clearly they're not being parented very well, which, sorry, but that is simply the truth, maybe, they deserve to have this done to them. Let's see. Speaking of kids that may or may not deserve the things that happen to them. So from Officer Lou, watch. Police officer facing heavy online backlash over his aggressive arrest of this teenager. Do you see a problem here? Now, here's the thing. You have to watch this very carefully to see whether or not the officer is actually at fault. So the kid is running, drops his backpack.
Oh my god!
The cop, as far as I can tell, never actually gets his hands on him before he trips and hits that car.
Oh my god!
Also, if you think the way the police officer handled him after he smashed his own face into the car was aggressive, yeah, no, that's the very gentlest way he could have handled him. Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he cracked himself in the face pretty good. That's a hell of a grip he's got on the back of his neck, too.
Oh my god!
So let's see. I honestly do not see a problem. Why would this kid think it's okay to run from the police? Well, there's that. He shouldn't have been running in the first place. What was he supposed to do? Shower him with praise? I don't see any aggressive behavior. In fact, he was excessively kind. Accountability was never meant to be gentle. Yeah, that's from the disrespected trucker again. Oh, I'm actually following him. Okay. Let's see. Y'all are a bunch of pussies. That kid is badass and the cop didn't do nothing wrong. Shrug it off. Well, no, it's quite possible the kid gave himself a concussion with that impact. Unlikely, but possible. Give the cop a raise. I have a son. If he runs from a cop, I couldn't blame the cop for doing exactly what he just did. But you guys aren't... let's see if anybody actually did. Officer was being very restrained. The kid fell and hit his head on the car before the officer even touched him. Plus, we are not seeing the video from before. What did the kid do to cause the officer to chase him? True. There's a lot of people here who agree. I'm just looking to see if there's anybody here who says, oh, this is directly after the arrest. You can clearly see how he behaves. This was all after allegedly throwing rocks at officers. But don't do that shit, dumbass. Oh, yeah. It's a well-raised young man. I can't even understand what he's saying. Speak friggin' English. Yeah, what a wonderful young man he is. Oh boy. Yep, fucketh about, findeth out. Actually really like that. Not always too much leniency. You are now entering a find out zone. Lesson learned. That might actually have been part of the problem. If he was wearing his pants properly, his ability to flee from the police would have been improved. It's a mad, angry lesbian. What do we got here? Anybody check for damage to that quarter panel? Somebody maybe do compensation. Turkey. Obama. Safe to assume the crybabies would not like if America started doing this to Palestine protesters. Shout out to the kid with the yellow backpack. Tripped the mess out of that kid, did he? Let's find out. No, I don't think he did. Might have stuck his foot out and made the kid stutter step or something. He was moving. He didn't touch him, though, I don't think. Maybe got an elbow into him or touched his t-shirt or something. Regardless, I don't think the officer did anything wrong there at all. And this is going to be the last one that will make you lose all faith in humanity. Oh, come on.
You got like 10 seconds to open up the door. I swear to God, I'm gonna break this door. 10. Open the next fucking door. I'll call Mom.
Quiet, child. I saw that meme. Okay, so let's see here. 3 kids in pajamas were caught stealing at a Walgreens in Dallas, stuffing gift bags with merchandise while employees locked the doors to keep them inside. Should these kids be arrested? What should happen? And that's from Mr. White MAGA, who I will throw a follow to. So we'll watch the video and then we'll, of course, give our opinions.
You got like 10 seconds to open up this door. I swear to God, I'm gonna break this door.
What are you gonna do, little man?
10. Open this fucking door. Oh, come on, mama. Come on, mama. Bitch, I been knew how to count, ho. Show 4 out of that. Dad do that.
You can open the door.
Bitch, get this from my mouth, face, buddy. I'm gonna open up this door, because I'm not playing. All my fucking knows, y'all better open it. I'm not playing.
You know how to count. You have hands. Open the door.
Open up this door before we break this bitch.
Break it. Go ahead.
I'm finna break some up in this bitch. I'm God. I'm finna. You guys must be dumb. I would like that for you with y'all. Do not play with me.
You
Do
can
not.
like that, but you can't open the door.
Do not play with me.
Do not play with me. Jesus Christ.
You can open it.
I will trash this off.
I'm closed. All right, we're sorry.
Yeah, open this. Open it.
Okay. Here's my take. The little fucker that was roaming around with a raised bottle, yeah, that's reach out, grab the bottle, smack the kid. Sorry, that's threatening. Should they be arrested? Oh, Kalergi is in. When do I become dangerous? Shares article about 4-year-old black kid shooting his 2-year-old sister. Yeah. It's not just because they're black, it's also because they're badly raised. I mean, I've met loads of respectable black folk. Come on. It's not that hard to raise a good kid. But, we'll let that meme sit there for a minute. That image. My take on this is, yeah, the kid that's actually being physically threatening with the bottle, smack that one. Yeah. Corporal correction immediately for that one. The other two, and really all three of them, call the cops, have them arrested. Every cent that is in those bags should be charged to the parents, who should be taken to court and fined, formally fined for them. And after that, well, hope for the best, because no amount of correction a police officer can give them is going to make any difference if their parents can't. Yeah. Is it them again, Timon? It's always them, Pumbaa. Let's not jump to conclusions, and they're black. There's still hope. Save the children. Lock them up. My baby didn't do nothing. Ask him for advice. When do I become a threat? Oh, this is what you were referencing, I think, Kalergi. Let me see what this says here. Black male murders per 100,000, 4.9 between 5 and 4. Holy shit. Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm no fan of statistics, but that's a bad statistic. What else? Is it them again, Yogi? Yeah. Show me your receipt, please. You leave Fluffy and Smokey alone. Book 'em, Dano. Yeah, they should absolutely be jailed. And, of course, somebody's made some AI vaporization. Okay. You got some lip on you, midget. Yep. Okay. This one is just... It's hilarious. Okay.
What is a...
We'll start with this, and I'll let her say what she's about to say, and then I'll give a couple of brief thoughts, and then we'll watch the rest of the video because it's fucking hilarious.
Best country in the world.
What is the what?
What is the best country in the world?
Mexico.
Mexico is definitely the best country in the world, says the woman who's standing at an anti-ICE protest somewhere in, I suspect, California, who is dressed head to toe in Mexican gear and talking about how Mexico is the best country in the world from another country.
For sure, Mexico.
Mexico?
Mexico.
So why do you think these people don't want to go back?
I think it's because we sacrifice a lot to be here, and we all want people to come in the right way as well. But things are better over here in America, and they're gonna try their best to be here.
Well, you just said Mexico's the best country in the world.
It is. But I think that
these people shouldn't be allowed to vote, not because they're Mexican, because they're women. And women clearly can't apply logic. Jesus, fuck. Listen to yourself. Mexico is the best country in the world. Why are you here? Because it's better. That's about how much is going on in your head, isn't it? What else did Kalergi say? Kalergi's just laughing, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
What is the best?
Let's see. Also, I don't want people to come in at all. Oh, hang on. This is from Imperator Philippidus Erebus. What is the best country in the world? Mexico, definitely, for sure. So why do you think people don't want to go back? Because we sacrificed a lot to be here. Things are better over here in America. But you just, Mexico is the best country. It is. And then he continues, also, I don't want people to come in at all. The issue isn't legal versus illegal immigration. We need an immigration moratorium. Yeah, the entire continent needs an immigration moratorium. All of North America. The U.S. and Canada. What? No, I don't include Mexico in North America. Just because it's north of the Panama Canal doesn't make it North America. And I think, is this the last of the six Empermentalists? Yes. So one more dickhead to deal with. Canada's previous dickhead. Yeah, in chief. The COVID architects, this is from Rational Posts. The COVID architects knew once people got their jabs, they'd immediately, largely, not give a shit about the rights of the unjabbed. Sure enough, as data and evidence rolls in, no one got in trouble, no one was arrested, and no one gives a shit. This is 7 minutes. We're not going to watch all of it, probably about a minute or so. But keep an eye on the little blonde fella. He has to struggle pretty hard to get his question out, but when he does, it's pretty good.
Human rights of those who didn't want to get vaccinated. Yet some people have died as a result of this. Is that really a smirking matter?
Why you push Canada to vaccinate the people?
Pushing disinformation the way you have.
What is disinformation?
Irresponsible.
What, that people have died?
People in Canada to vaccinate.
I'm sorry, but that's
COVID vaccine.
But that's not misinformation. My old cameraman's mother actually.
Them and you pushed them into jail.
My old cameraman's mother actually died after complications from the COVID vaccine. So is that misinformation?
Yeah. See, he has no reason to take accountability or responsibility. He's free. Same as Chrystia Freeland. Yeah. It's pointless to continue to dwell on what has been done before. That's part of the circus, part of the slop. What we need to do is make a plan moving forward to never let assholes like this in power again after Carney. Yeah. Whew. This is going to be a rough one. Speaking of assholes. From Arwen Becker, at She Handled It. Killergy says, Mexico is the best country in the world, just not for actually living in. Yeah, apparently it's okay to go visit the whores and the donkey shows. Ugh. Anyway, from Arwen Becker. Rhode Island hockey rink shooter identified as Robert Dorgan, a 56-year-old transgender father who also went by Roberta Esposito. He opened fire during a high school game in Pawtucket, apparently shooting his wife and 2 kids, critically injuring 3 others, and then turned the gun on himself. Please pray for all those involved. No. There's one soul there that I'm not going to be praying for, if I was the praying type anyway. So yeah, this is another, obviously, perfectly mentally stable individual. Right? Who, yeah. And of course, I can already hear the comments, oh, but what about, and what about, and what about? No, doesn't matter. We're seeing a pattern develop with transgender shooters. Let's deal with that problem. Excuse me. Now, that was a different, well, it's the same story. It was a different post. From Libs of TikTok, the Rhode Island trans shooter tweeted yesterday warning that you shouldn't point out that trans women are really men or they will go berserk. Transgender people are violent and a potential danger to society. It does start to seem that way. This is all kinds of wrong. Also, I want to draw your attention to this area. Take a close look at that tattoo. Do you see what I see? If you do, you see something that Grok doesn't. Oh, I accidentally closed that when I shouldn't have. Give me 1 second here. I'll pull that right back up. It should be this one. Yes. Okay. I do apologize. I didn't mean to close that right away. So, having a good close look at this tattoo, that is definitely not a face. And we'll take a quick look at this. From Kevin Sorbo, Tim McBride is a man. Community note this if I'm wrong. Alex Jones says, so creepy. And Roberta Dorgano, which apparently is another name that they use, shut the fuck up, Alex. Don't be so butthurt over somebody different, and then wonder why trans people go fucking berserk. That sounds like, hormonally induced rage, sir. But librarian of Chileno? Ex Libris Chileno? Let's see. Bobby B is in. Hey, Bobby. Let's see. If only the Mexicans living in America thought so. Yes. Pedo cannibal demons run the world. Nothing else matters to me until we fix that. Anyways, good afternoon, all. Hi, man. Yeah. So, Ex Libris Chileno, probably butchering that, asked Grok if those were SS runes on that guy's arm. Right here. After checking that the photo was real, Grok told me that the tattoo was not in fact an SS tattoo, which it obviously is, but that it was a picture of Sam fucking Hyde. He can't keep getting away with this. Yeah. Aren't there 2 SS runes under the skull? Thoughts? No. There aren't 2 SS runes, and this is the response from Grok, apparently. The double lightning bolt sig runes associated with the Nazi Schutzstaffel under the skull. Upon closer review of the image and cross-referencing with available sources on Sam Hyde, the person in the photo from his fish tank live reality. Oh, okay. So the tattoo wasn't mistaken for Sam Hyde. This guy was mistaken for Sam Hyde. If I was Sam, I'd be pissed. That guy's nose is way different. The tattoo in question is part of a colorful full-sleeve design featuring classic motifs like skulls, roses, and stylized lettering or abstract elements. The red shapes below the skull seem to be petals or decorative flourishes blending into the background, not explicit runes or bolts. Hyde's ink is generally in an old-school biker-rocker aesthetic, and despite his provocative comedy often sparking rumors, there's no substantiated info indicating Nazi symbolism in his tattoos. So, Grok misidentified the subject of the photo and then went on to use information about that mistaken subject to respond to the question. Yeah. Don't trust the fucking AI. And I do believe there was a challenge. You're right, my earlier analysis misidentified the image as Sam Hyde. It's not him, and the tattoo does appear to resemble SS runes. Appreciate the feedback, helps me refine. And I said, before that response came in, clearly Grok doesn't know what the fuck it's looking at. Let's see. Sam lives in Rhode Island. Tranny lived in Rhode Island. Sam is involved in every mass shooting. Seems open and shut to me. I told you can't keep getting away with this. Okay, from Appalachian Liberty, which continues to be on the same topic, unfortunately. This is the way Western man. So this is Liberty Extreme on X. Dad has been arrested after blocking a trans woman from entering the women's restroom, standing in front of the door and saying, "My daughter's in there." Yeah. I think we're getting to the point where every single restroom is going to have to be single occupancy. Or we go back to the way things used to be. Yeah. Let's see. I don't want to start with Canadian politics right away. We do have a fair bit of UK politics, most of it Restore Britain related. Let me see if I have anything that isn't anything. Or either of those, I should say. Yeah, no, let's stay in the States, because, oh my god, this one's good. Or bad, depending on how you feel about it. Also, I need to figure out what Thus Always to Shitheads is, because, dear god, does this one deserve that title. AOC says there's no rich cultural heritage that goes with whiteness. White Americans are their own ethnicity with their own culture and language. AOC is not part of that group, so she is denying the existence of the American ethnicity. It's actually even funnier than that. Denying someone's existence is the first stage of a genocide. Now, I don't know if this clip is going to have the line that I'm looking for, but we'll see.
There's a very big difference between whiteness and national, like your actual...
She has no idea of the words that she wants to use. She probably doesn't understand the differences in them.
Culture, right? Whiteness is an imaginary thing.
Imaginary? So who created it?
Being German is real. Being Italian is real. being English. These are rich cultural heritages that are based on
Can I also ask why you're talking like an Italian?
values, and they are so much a part of what make our cultures and our societies what they are.
Okay, we're going to come back to, I believe it was about here. Yeah, right about here, actually. Whiteness is a little bit more an imaginary thing. So it was made up. Well, those of us who are white actually know that the term whiteness was created as a means to umbrella hate the lot of us. Yeah. So we can be Italian, American, German, English, Canadian, Newfoundlander, and still be white. The same way that she could be brown and be Latin American, Cuban, whatever the fuck she is. I don't even care. Puerto Rican, I think. But, yeah. Bobby B, AI is yet another tool that will be used to retard us. Oh, yeah, no, it's a great way to separate the retards from the sensible people. I have used AI for research, and I have to confirm it, because if I don't, I'm uncertain. But I've seen people literally watch some chemical reaction or whatever, and you can see from the video that it is quite certainly an actual occurring event with no funny uncanny valley markers or anything of that nature. And they will still ask Grok, is this real? Or the better one is, you could have somebody make a very clear, common sense statement such as the sky is blue, and you will see at least one person in the comments, Grok, is this real? So, yeah. AI is another tool that we use. Yep. I bet it's staged just to distract us from the PCDs. PCDs? You mean the PDFs? The pedophile... Oh, yeah, no, the pedophile cannibal demons. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, what else have we got here? Europe has many cultures. We call Europeans white, therefore whiteness, which they had drafted as white, defined as white culture, is white culture, if they cared about consistency instead of word games. Yeah, it's kind of like if we just say, well, Latino culture. Then you're talking about people from Argentina to Mexico, from Cuba to Guatemala. And these are all the same kind of people, right? With the exact same culture. I mean, AOC is an idiot, but we don't have to be. Let's see, what have we got here? Ah, speaking of whiteness, that actually works out very well. This one. This is just well, from Chad Crowley. White guilt is the engine of demographic replacement. A people that doubts its right to exist will be replaced by those who do not doubt their right to exist. Survival begins where guilt ends. No more white guilt. And we'll just blow this up, hit pause, and I'll probably end up pausing quite a lot. So this is 1971. Canada was 96% white. The US was 88% white. In just 56 years, the projection, both of us will be pretty close to parity of 50% white. I don't know about this one, but that's mostly because the natives aren't having a lot of kids. So, Britain and Ireland in 1950, 99 and 99.9 and 99 respectively. 2025, 73 and 75. France, 1960, 97%. 2025, 74. Yeah. Rhodesia, oof, 1975, 5.1% white. 2008, Zimbabwe is 1% white. 1960, South Africa, percentage white, 20.4. 2025, 7.3. So it's about a third. Germany in 1960, 98% white. 2025, 83% white. That's still actually higher than I expected it to be. 1970, Sweden was 99.7% white. I'd imagine it's probably still pretty high. Probably still in the 80s at least. 82, yeah. That's 2020. It's probably shifted a bit more since. Italy in 1990, 99% white. We'll assume Dennis Hopper was wrong for purposes of this. If you've never seen the movie True Romance, I do recommend it. Christopher Walken and Dennis Hopper have a great dialogue. Yep. Okay. Didn't miss anything in chat. In 2018, it's 94. That's still almost 10 years ago. Yeah, we don't have anything newer. 1975, Spain was 99% European. Spaniards, obviously. 75, 50 years later, it's 81% native. Yeah. Oof. Okay, it's going a bit faster. There's Czechia. Czechia is a bit of an odd mix anyway. Whoa. Holy shit. Hang on. Let's go back. We'll come back to Czech. Okay, so in 2001, Czechia was 94% Czech. In 2011, 10 years later, it was 64% Czech. Okay. Yeah, okay. Portugal went from 98% white in, well, see, now, you don't think the Spaniards are white, but you think the Portuguese are. Huh? You know, it's kind of like, okay, if you're going to disqualify the Spaniards because they have Muslim blood, Moorish blood, why didn't you disqualify the Italians? Ugh. The methodologies are a bit funky. Okay, that was weird. They didn't have a second one that I saw for Portugal. We must secure the okay, I can't even say that in Canada. White guilt is also complete hocus pocus designed. Yeah, can't say that in Canada. Always based on lies, that is true. Yeah, minority births outnumber white births in the U.S., yeah. Free the wolves, dying to be kind, suicidal empathy. I don't think suicidal empathy is the correct term, unless you also add the word induced ahead of it. Let's see. No, Canadian, British. Okay, but that's not the British one I'm looking for. Oh, here we have another American one. At least I think this is American. There's an American flag behind her. Yes, okay. Oh, good news. We'll take good news. We'll take good news all day, every day. So, from Reverend Jordan Wells, breaking, Governor Kay Ivey just signed the Child Predator Death Penalty Act into law. Death penalty now on the table for first-degree rape, sodomy, or sexual torture of any child under 12. No excuses, no kid gloves for monsters, no mercy for predators. Alabama is putting children first and sick freaks on notice. That's real leadership, period. Yeah, good job. She's a visible Southern Christian. Her lapel pin confirms this. I'm not sure what that symbol is. Let me blow that up a little bit. Doesn't look like the Sacred Heart. I'm not sure. But I'll take this person's word for it. Nikki P. Leaders like her are the demon's greatest foes. Excellent. Pedophile hat pull down. Simultaneously purge degenerates and build those wings. Yeah. Guys, it's a wood chipper tank. And we shall name it Amnesty. Yep, one true justice. Can't expect God to do all the work. Mandatory minimum... Oh, yeah, this is Canada. Yeah, meanwhile in Canada from Gigab. You're not wrong either. I'll throw you a follow for that. Mandatory minimum child pornography sentences are considered unconstitutional, says the Supreme Court. Now, the reasoning, such as it was behind this, was that there is a possibility that some 16-year-old might get a picture of his 16-year-old girlfriend and pass it around. Does that mean he deserves to go to jail for child pornography? Not necessarily, no. But he does need to be punished. Well, okay, then we punish him for child pornography. But the mandatory minimum is too high for a 16-year-old, isn't it? Well, yeah, maybe. Okay, well, then we can make the mandatory minimum unconstitutional. How about this? How about you never had mandatory minimums in the first place, and we were able to actually trust our judges to follow the law and behave like good people? Oh, no, we can't do that. Okay, well, then you had to keep the mandatory minimum. And fuck your unconstitutional bullshit. Also, if a mandatory minimum is unconstitutional in one situation, it's going to be unconstitutional in all of them. Let's see, what do we got here? That's my governor. Yeah, I do love that Alabama flag. Never forget what we're fighting for. Thank God there's an actual penalty being fought for. Too many are imprisoned, then pardoned, or received clemency for political pandering, putting dangerous criminals back on the street. We need to stop the release of violent offenders, and particularly stop releasing child predators. I do not know a single case where a child predator did not reoffend as soon as they were no longer monitored. Yeah. From Jay from Nash Clips says he's created a meme if you'd like to use it. On February 12th, 2026, I'm going to do it again. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey signed House Bill 41, the Child Predator Death Penalty Act, into law. Oh, okay, just turned it into a death or life without parole. Okay. If you're going to give them life without parole, just give them death. Why make the taxpayer pay for them? This is very much true. Pedocillin. Looks like a hollow point 22, but I imagine it's like a 3 or 38 special or something. I don't know my handgun rounds very well. This is how leaders who actually care about the welfare of our children act. Yeah. Let's see. This is Toronto. Jesus. I have a lot of Canadian stuff and a lot of British stuff. I want to get through the US stuff first. Okay, we have one from my friend Yiz. So we'll look at that one. Just for a palate cleanser, to be honest. Yiz says this is sick and wrong. Also, if you're not following Yiz Cognito, you should be. Especially if you follow my content. Yeah, I called this digital necromancy. Breaking. Meta has patented an AI that can keep a deceased person's account active and running, posting, messaging, and video calling by replicating using their behavior from past data. That means anytime you make a video call on any Meta platform or device, you are being recorded. You have no right to your own image. Hollywood celebrities don't even get that kind of bullshit treatment. They actually have the right to their own image. Yeah. I'm so glad I'm not on Facebook. Any more than I have to be. Yeah. And I will point out, while this is digital necromancy, this is not really new. The service being done by an AI is, but I think it's 10 or 12 years ago, I remember hearing about a service being offered that basically did the same thing. But I'm guessing it was probably a person or definitely not an AI running the account. It's a Black Mirror episode with that theme. I really need to watch more Black Mirror. Inventing necromancy in real time, the original demon in the likeness of a loved one kind, yeah. Let's see, anything else from the U.S.? That's technically U.S., but we'll deal with the European stuff first. Before we go back to there. Maybe. Just 1 second here. No, okay. We'll start with this one after all, because this one is kind of retarded. And there's a much more retarded one right afterwards. Okay, so this is from Eric Doherty. It's official. American liberals are done with Trump's America, so they are becoming Canadian. I feel instantly changed. I fully embraced being a Canadian. I love this trend. Okay, Eric. Am I following you? Chief Content Officer, Right Line News and FL Voice News. Marylander turned Floridian. Okay, I understand why you love it, because you want the liberals out of the U.S. Fair enough. I'll forgive the slight against Canadians for it.
You're gonna go into that building an American, and you're gonna come out a Canadian.
Legally. Paperwork. Yeah.
I'm gonna go into that building an American, and I'm gonna come out a Canadian.
Why is your woman in the back seat?
Ellen and Bandit. Theodore!
Is that why? Because you had the baby in the front seat? Okay.
Alright, big smiles, everyone. Smile here. Hello. How does it feel to be Canadian?
It feels great. I feel like instantly changed. You know, on the drive home, I was letting everyone in front of me, and then we went to go get lunch, and it was completely crowded. So I was like, I'll come back, and I just I've fully embraced being a Canadian.
Wait till you get your first tax bill. And you see how badly inflated our fucking currency is. His welcome from Border Patrol when he tries to return to the U.S. Oh, I'm disconnected, apparently. No, apparently I'm back, but I'm not, because I'm still showing nearly 0 KBS. Okay, so I sent a message in chat to let you guys know. It looks like my internet is down. It's back up for the moment, so what I'll do is I'll finish this, and then I'll make sure the video gets posted as fast as possible. Yeah, I'll make sure the video gets uploaded as fast as possible, and which means I might skip the gaming session today just to get that up. Anyway, let's watch this because, well, it's John Candy and it's funny.
Hold it right there, Canuck. Hold it right there, Canuck.
The last thing we need up here are more retards. We should be doing one-for-one swaps is what we should be doing. That's lame, stupid Canada. When you had to flee to the U.S. as a refugee, go to New Hampshire. We need more good people. I've got offers from all over the states, so yeah, I appreciate it, and I'll definitely keep it in mind. Little piece of paper doesn't change what you are. Oh no, see, here's the really funny thing. This is a liberal in the U.S. thinking that he's escaping an authoritarian regime by moving to Canada. Yeah. They think they're escaping an authoritarian regime by moving to Canada. Son, you have no idea what kind of fight we're in for up here. Watch this. This is from Mark Nixon. We'll pause this. The EU's foreign policy chief, Kaja Kallas, claims that 40% of Canadians want to join the European Union. Where's she getting her stats? Do you think 40% of Canadians want to join the European Union? No, not a fucking chance. But let's see what she has to say anyway. Kaja Kallas. That's quite the beak on you, ma'am.
It's very hard for me to believe these accusations. You know, coming from a country that is number 2 in the Press Freedom Index, hearing criticism regarding press freedom coming from a country that is 58 on this.
Okay, who's writing the fucking list? That you think that the U.S. is behind Estonia in free press. Also, isn't that a wonderful screenshot? Yeah.
This list, it's interesting. Contrary to what some may say, woke, decadent Europe is not facing civilizational erasure.
Well, that's a blatant lie.
In fact, people still want to join our club. And not just fellow Europeans.
So, Canadians aren't Europeans. So it only matters about paperwork, doesn't it, bitch? Yeah. Your bullshit is all a legal fallacy that will fall completely apart inside of a decade.
When I was in Canada last year, I was told that over 40% of Canadians have an interest in joining the European Union.
What member of our government lied their ass off to you and told you that?
So the waiting list is quite long. I just hope that those who have been waiting for quite some time would not have to wait for longer. It's very...
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, here's the one I meant to play right after that last one. Before this one. Okay, let's
In the
can I
US.
find a pause button on this? Thank you. Jesus. From Gen Xer. Healthcare in Canada is free, right? Or, well, see, this is... Free healthcare is the greatest Canadian scam. Yeah, you're not wrong. So, I'm fairly certain that liberal who moved from the US to Canada did so partly because he's under the impression that healthcare is free in this country.
Hello, Canadian, living in the US. I've been here about 1.5 years. I'm currently on my own little mission to learn as much as I possibly can, and one thing that I've learned since I've been here is that there is a massive misunderstanding about Canadians' healthcare, and there is this big assumption that Canadian healthcare is free. So I thought today would be the perfect opportunity to help explain
An average 50% tax burden. Yeah, that's free, all right.
how and why Canadian universal healthcare is not free. And I took notes. The first thing that people need to understand about Canadian universal healthcare is that it is not free, okay? It is publicly funded through your taxes. And I actually made a little breakdown of how the taxes go, okay? So here's the thing. You don't pay at the hospital, but you pay through your taxes long.
Yeah, you pay long before you need the hospital. And if you're a particularly healthy individual who rarely needs a hospital, yeah, kind of makes the U.S. system look better, doesn't it?
Long before you even get there, okay? So this is how about 40 to 50% of your wages will go to taxes in Canada.
No, that's an average number. That's not the highest bracket.
So, and it doesn't come from one tax, okay? It comes from many smaller taxes that stick together and add up.
Yeah, there's income tax, the sales tax, federal and provincial. It's usually rolled together for the sake of harmonized. There's the term I was looking for. There's also fees for things like registering a vehicle, wedding licenses, things of that nature.
First of all, income tax, okay? Federal and provincial. So middle income Canadians often lose about 25% to 35% of their gross pay. Higher earners can expect 40% in combined rates.
Or higher.
So that's taken from your paycheck before it even hits your bank account, okay?
Oh, and you also pay taxes on any interest you earn.
The next is payroll taxes. So that is automatically deducted from your paycheck. So you get CPP and EI, which is unemployment insurance.
Okay, she misspoke there. CPP is the Canada Pension Plan, which you don't have an option to opt out of. EI is employment insurance, not unemployment insurance. And the reason that's important is because in the States, there is apparently a difference in your guys' system of unemployment insurance and our version of employment insurance.
And that adds about another 5 to 7% of your wages. And then next we have sales tax, and that really depends on where you live, in which province. So there's GST.
No, the GST is federal, and it's set at 5%. It started at 7%.
HST, and PST. So that
HST is when a jurisdiction charges both PST and GST as a single figure. Some jurisdictions charge GST and PST separately, which means you get taxed on tax.
That is about 5 to 15% on almost every single thing that you buy.
Wrong. Ish. In Newfoundland, we have a 10% provincial sales tax, and we have the GST. It's rolled together into the harmonized sales tax, so we pay 15%. So we're not taxed on a tax, but we just have to pay 2 lots of tax at one time, as opposed to somewhere that had, say, a 10% provincial sales tax and the 5% GST. You would pay 10% of your total as PST. Then, added to that is the 5% GST, so you're actually getting taxed as on a portion of the PST tax that you've already paid. Fucking lovely, isn't it?
And mind you, that is paid with already taxed income, okay? So that pushes your effective tax rate higher. Next, property taxes. It's direct or passed on, okay? So homeowners pay directly and renters will pay indirectly through rent. And that's just
Obviously.
another few percent of your income. And then naturally, you have hidden taxes and fees, okay? So there's fuel taxes, alcohol.
Okay, the fuel taxes I want to bring up. The alcohol, the vice, sin taxes, we're going to leave those aside. But the fuel tax is really important. If you are a farmer, you pay fuel tax to run your machinery. If you are the trucker taking the farmer's products to market, you pay fuel tax to run your machinery. If you are a storage facility, you pay fuel tax to keep your generators running. Obviously, you need generators because if the power goes out, you absolutely have to have that stuff kept as fresh as possible. It's food. Then you have the stores themselves. They have to pay a fuel tax because, well, they get hit with a fuel tax by, in some cases, the power company, because the power company might use generators to provide power. All of that is before it ever hits a price tag.
And tobacco taxes, licensing and government.
Okay, the alcohol and tobacco taxes. Let me see. Okay, I have a cigarette pack here. These hold 20. That's the standard size for a cigarette, for a pack of cigarettes in Canada. In Newfoundland, anyway. Alberta, I think it was 25, but it's kind of back and forth either way. But if you buy 20 cigarettes in a pack, here in Newfoundland, you're looking at about, it's high enough that we might as well just round it up to $20. So you're paying about $1 a cigarette. Of that dollar, 80% in some cases is actually the cost of tax and regulation. So what you would actually pay instead of $20 would be closer to $4, which is roughly what you pay for a pack of cigarettes in the US, as I understand it. Yeah. And I don't think that's even the cheapest packs. I don't know for sure, but if somebody wants to enlighten me if they've bought cigarettes in the US lately. Yeah.
Government fees. They are small individually, but they are big when you combine them. So here's how it adds up to 40 to 50% of your wages, okay?
She's underestimating like crazy. If, for example, say you smoke a pack a week, so that's 7 packs of cigarettes. That's $140 a week. That could be a significant chunk of your income that's being taxed. 40 to 50, that's way too low.
You combine income tax, payroll deductions, consumption taxes, and housing-related taxes. Many Canadians keep only 50 to 60 cents of every dollar that they earn. So here's the thing. The tax burden isn't one big hit, okay? It's death by 1,000 cuts. So roughly 30 to 40% of all...
No, it's more like being punched in the gut, kicked in the balls, and then stabbed in the eyes with 2 fingers. And then somebody slaps you in the head until you fall down. That's what our tax system is more like.
All provincial government spending goes to healthcare. And provinces don't have healthcare money. They have your tax money. Okay, so instead of paying a bill...
Yeah, so we're going to leave it there because it's just absolutely infuriating. Let's see, what else have we got for Canada? We've got a bunch of Canadian retardation. Let me get the few US one or UK ones I have out of the way first. Where did you go? Is that you? That's not you. Well, okay, I'll say it this way. Let's get the few restore related UK stories out of the way. I think I'm going to be covering a lot of UK stuff in the next while. So we got this one, which is absolutely retarded. From Josh Firm, one of the Lotus Eaters. If you're not following Josh, you should be. Hi, Josh. I doubt he watches, but fuck it. I like the guy, and there's always a chance, because we do follow each other, I believe. No. Okay, oh, I follow him. Fine, be that way. Notice me, senpai, you bastard. Any state that does this has lost its mandate to rule. From Puberty. An 86-year-old man in the UK was fined 334, it says dollars, for spitting out a leaf that flew into his mouth, with police saying he was, quote, littering. He appealed it and had the fine reduced all the way down to $200. A leaf flew into his mouth, he went and was charged with littering. Sorry, fined for littering. Are you fucking kidding? Absolutely sickening idiocy. Deckard Kane says, I remember reading the Vogon bit in Hitchhiker's Guide, and as an American, wondering how anyone could come up with it, and the administrative BS leading to the House stuff at the start. Then I got to see the UK state for myself and realized he was underselling the petty tyranny. Yes, and I hope at some point you've looked at the US bureaucracy, because holy fuck labyrinthine. Just look at your tax code. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, we'll go with this one here. For those of you who aren't aware, Muslims in apparently both the US and the UK, and probably here in Canada, are kicking up a stink because they want us to get rid of our dogs. No, I'm not joking. Muslims in Europe and America are angry that we keep dogs as pets. They consider dogs unclean. They are starting to make demands in our European and American cities. Choose Muslims or choose dogs. Which is your choice? Seriously? You need to ask? God damn it. That's a good pupper. Dogs call for famous Palestinian activist to be banned as indoor pet in New York City because she is un-American. Yeah, I'm with Ricky Gervais. If you don't like dogs, you can fuck off. Yep. Speaking of Muslims attempting to exercise power they shouldn't be permitted to have, let's see where that one went. Here we are. I did cover some time back the whole push to have halal only foods in schools in Britain. From the British Patriot, what the fuck? Muslims in the UK are calling for a ban of people eating in public during Ramadan daylight hours. They argue that seeing people eating food increases their temptation and Islam should be respected. What's your message to them? There's my message to them. Here, have a nice bacon burger. Or sandwich. I guess that's a bacon buddy. I don't know. That does look fucking good, though. Definitely having bacon when I'm done here. Yep. Let's see. If you choose to move to the West, then you can choose to accept Western lifestyle opposed to demanding that the West conforms to the third world shithole you came from. Yep. When they're in a minority. I'm a Muslim. Please don't hate me. They pretend to be secular. They play the victim card. They build mosques. And they want more rights. China, France, part of India. When in the majority, massacre those who insult Islam is the sign. Yeah. It's an Islamic country. They impose Sharia, ban temples, no minority rights. Saudi, Pakistan, Syria, Kashmir. Yep. Oh, yeah, no. I'm absolutely right there with this one. I think that's actually the same image I used when I was talking about the school story. Let's see. I think we can start with some of the Canadian stupidity. Let's not. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to do these in slightly out of order, mostly because it just makes sense. So it's mostly going to be restore stuff. We'll have a look at Rupert Lowe, and there is some Nigel Farage here as well. Pause that. So, we'll just play the video. I think it just quotes the video.
Personally, I'm not jabbed. I wouldn't touch those experimental mRNA and gene therapy experiments, which I...
Precisely the position I'm in. Someone tried to say to me recently, you're lucky that you never took the vaccine. And I pointed out to them, luck had nothing to do with it. I refused to take the fucking things because I knew damned well they were experimental.
I think, as you know, there's a lot of concern about it from quite a lot of medical people now. Now we've got, in the States, we've got Kennedy. He's going to be exposing a lot of this stuff, as I think Donald Trump is keen to see. So...
Doesn't look that way, considering Donald Trump was the guy behind the big push for the vaccines in the U.S. I know, yeah, Biden was the one behind all the mandates, but Trump was the one behind the vaccine. Remember when it first came out in the States that the Democrats were saying, I'm not taking a Republican vaccine? And then Biden threw a pile of mandates on people, and they all decided, okay, well, I guess we'll have to.
I got them. I got the vaccine.
Let's just get the truth. I mean, I've got friends who've had myocarditis, you know, who have had blood clots, who've had all sorts of problems as a result of the COVID jab, strokes.
I still believe in vaccinations.
Okay, here's where we run into an issue. And this guy is a bit of a shyster. Here's where the issue comes in. He's talking about, I believe in vaccinations. Okay, as an umbrella, sure. If we're talking about the traditional live virus or lesser powerful virus, sure, absolutely, no problem. If we're talking about new technology, like the mRNA genetic therapy version, that's not a vaccine. It never was. A vaccine, the traditional vaccine, gives you a little bit of the illness to help you fight it off when you encounter the full thing. That's how a vaccine works. It's preventative medicine. This mRNA, COVID jab, all this stuff, it's not really a vaccine because you can still get sick. Oh, but if I didn't get the jab, when I got sick, it would have been so much worse. Really? I know people who've jabbed every single opportunity they've had, and they've had COVID twice as many times as I have. I've had it maybe 3 times, and the last one could have been a flu. Yeah.
But the problem for me is that no one on that side would even talk about that there might have been problems with it, you know, so I'm open.
Okay, I'll make this very clear. Traditional vaccines appear, leaving aside the potential autism-causing side effect, or effect, but at this point, the traditional vaccines appear to be okay. That said, with that increase in autism, I want to see what changed, because I'm aware that the vaccines now are given in much bigger batches than they used to be, where there's multiple different vaccines in each jab, even for the traditionals. So I would like to see a statistical analysis of the rise of autism and any changes in the vaccine schedule. Or the vaccine schedule is probably the best term to use. If those correlate, or even seem to be closely correlated, or corollary, then we need to look at what might be wrong with the vaccine schedule. I think I had MMR, measles, mumps, rubella, and diphtheria at the same time when I was a baby, and then had a booster shot, I believe, for those when I was in high school, early high school, so grade 9, so I would have been 15 or 16. Is that how they're still doing it? I don't know. I'm aware that they now have vaccinations for all kinds of things that weren't vaccinated for when I was a child, like hepatitis A and B, for example, the Twinrix vaccine.
It's the idea there might have been problems. I got vaxxed a bunch of times. I'm all right, but I understand.
Are you? Do you know for sure that you're all right? You feel okay. You haven't noticed any effect. Doesn't mean you haven't had one.
You know, these things are very complicated.
Well, you're all right today, but who knows what the long-term effects of it are going to be. But look, I'm not a medical expert, but my instinct was not to have it.
Now, my instinct was the same, and I absolutely agree with Mr. Lowe here. The reason I chose not to have it was because I had done a single semester of university-level biology. And part of that was learning how viruses act, how they evolve, and, for lack of a better term, viruses aren't necessarily even alive. It's one of those weird gray area things that you learn about when you actually get out in the real world and discover that things are not nearly as cut and dried as they tried to tell you in high school, or in school in general. But I was also keenly aware that clinical testing does not take a few weeks. It can take up to 5 to 10 years in some cases, especially for a vaccination. Because it's called a long-term fucking study. Yeah, when the mRNA thing came out and everybody said, oh, this is fine. And I went, wait a second, they've been working on this for less than a year. How the fuck did they do the clinical trials? And people started saying, well, the clinical trials have been done. I started to realize, no, we are the clinical trial.
Again, I think we'd all accept the fact that it was very difficult not to have it because the state tried to force people to have it.
Yeah, well, that's not.
Yeah, why did the state force people to have a vaccination? For that particular vaccination?
Whether it was the NHS, whether it was, Matt Hancock, whether it was, people who said it was your duty to have it because you might kill Granny or whatever.
Yeah, I will point out, and I'll point this out for the rest of my life, I suspect anytime COVID is brought up, most grannies were perfectly fine with dying because they wanted to see their grandchildren more than they wanted to live by themselves.
Trudeau.
I mean, as
the
Trudeau, the World Economic Forum Brigade, but
I do love that he tied Trudeau to the World Economic Forum. Perfect.
Look, I think what should have happened is, quite simply, we should have said to those people who are vulnerable, you're vulnerable, isolate yourselves, and as
yeah.
Tegnell got it right in Sweden. It's a fact. He didn't lock down. Sweden's economy hardly missed a heartbeat, whereas ours has been decimated. Young people have been hugely affected by it. I mean, it's very difficult.
Well, not only that, but about the same time as we were beginning to recover from COVID, the mass immigration waves started. Can't imagine why.
For those young people, it disrupted their lives at a crucial period in their education. So,
yeah. Okay, I think he'll make a decent prime minister. Certainly better than this guy. This is Nigel Farage talking about how, I think it's how he feels about being British, or how British is how you feel. No, this is a different one, but we'll come... I think I have the other one as well. Nigel Farage is not going to deport anyone if Reform wins. Listen to this, he has the woke mind virus. Quote, I'm not going to start drawing ethnic lines on what being English is. Yeah, it is this one. It's about how you feel, and it's about what your priorities are.
Listen, I'm not going to start drawing ethnic lines on what being English is. Otherwise, we'll be back to DNA tests of whether you're...
Oh, looks like my system crashed. Might have.
Or Anglo-Saxon. I'm not...
Okay, let's try that again.
Listen, I'm not going to start drawing ethnic lines on what being English is. Otherwise, we'll be back to DNA tests of whether you're Anglo-Saxon. I'm not going down that road. It's about how you feel.
Why not? It's perfectly acceptable for the Israelis to do it in Israel. If they want to give somebody citizenship, you have to be either Jewish by conversion or religion, or you have to have Jewish ethnicity, which does require some form of heritage test. Generally DNA. What's the problem?
And it's about what your priorities are. That's what I'd say. Okay. What are your feel? And it's about what down that road. It's about how you feel. And it's about what your priorities are. That's
being English is about how you feel and what your priorities are. So if you're Muslim but you feel British, and your priority is a Muslim, an Islamic Britain, Farage seems to be fine with that. Yeah. There's only one answer for Britain. Millions will go. Restore Britain, yeah. Everyone needs to block this guy. No, don't ever ignore your enemies when they're telling you who they are. Let's see here. Oh, that's the... Oh, okay. I have this clip from Wall Street Mav and from Connor Tomlinson. If you haven't followed Connor, you probably should. And we'll pull the same clip up to have a look through the comments there. No, Nigel, being English is not, quote, about how you feel. Our heritage is not a cosplay. English is an ethnicity just as Japanese, Jewish, or Indian are ethnicities. You cannot self-identify as English any more than men can identify as women. It's absolutely true. And, of course, he did say in this clip that Connor posted, I don't think Englishness really matters. And this is the guy who wants to lead your country? Cindy Bin, God bless you. I feel Japanese today. Maybe tomorrow I'll feel Jewish. Sheesh. Nigel doesn't get it at all. He needs to join us at No White Guilt and learn how to go free of the anti-white narrative. He's compromised at the very least. Forget about him. It's rapidly going to be at the point where we're going to have to decide to leave some people behind. Yeah, fuck this Quisling. He's encouraging the meme. Yeah, let me tell you about your country. Big brain ideas. Decolonize the UK by colonizing it? Yeah. Everyone knows what a white person is when they want to attack you for it or hand out affirmative action. It's only when you say you're proud to be white that suddenly it becomes a vague, invalid identity. This is intentional and malicious. Yes. Stick a fork in him, he's done, yeah. But I feel English. Yeah. Let's see. No foreigner, paper Brit or not, has ever identified themselves as English. They are not us, they never have been. Their identity is nothing more than a holdover from empire. A polite lie accepted in the 90s when we held 95% demographic majority. The ethnic groups were Asian or Asian British, Black British, Caribbean or African, mixed or multiple ethnic groups, white. Apparently the Gypsies and the Romans are also white? I was under the impression the Gypsies came out of Egypt. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see, how much other UK crap have I got? Oh, here we are. Speaking of decolonizing Britain, and how it feels to be, or what it means to be British. The British government, this is from Amuse, the British government has classified anyone who opposes the Islamification of their country as a terrorist. I guess I'm a terrorist now. And we'll have a quick look at this. Oh, okay, we'll just blow this up then, and I hope it's playing Rule Britannia. It's not playing anything. Okay. So from gov.uk, Prevent Duty Training. Remember Prevent? They're the ones who gave us Amelia. Terrorist ideologies. Extreme right-wing. We define extreme right-wing terrorism as the active or vocal support of ideologies that advocate discrimination or violence against minority groups. The three most common subcategories of extreme right-wing terrorist ideologies and their narratives are cultural nationalism. Western culture is under threat from mass migration and a lack of integration by certain ethnic and cultural groups. So that's an extreme attitude to hold. White ethno-nationalism. Mass migration from the non-white world and demographic change poses an existential threat to the white race and Western culture. Yeah, here's the funny thing about this. These two are actually tied together. You cannot have Western civilization, Western culture, without Western kind. That would be the white European. White supremacism. The white race is biologically, culturally, and spiritually superior to all other races. An alternative form of government ranging from fascist regimes to ethno-tribalism should replace Western parliamentary democracy. Well, given that Western parliamentary democracy, Canada, the UK, others, appears to have completely failed the Westerner, yeah, maybe we should get rid of it. But at no point have I ever said that I am biologically, culturally, or spiritually superior to all other races. Some, sure, but not all. And if you go and talk to anybody from a different race, they'll say the same thing. If not worse. And yeah, I did point out, if he's a terrorist, then I'm an international terrorist now. Because I absolutely oppose the Islamification of Britain and any other Western country. Underestimating your enemies is a bad choice. Imagine, if you will, a group of people so disgusting they had to make laws making it illegal to hate them. No. Imagine, if you will, a group of people so determined to erase your race that they make it illegal to protest against it. It's more accurate. And sticking with the UK. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of UK stuff today. How far in am I? Hour and a half. Oh, geez, I'm going to be quite long getting this over. So, from Basil the Great, you can see the major differences in policy approach. Today, Reform announces it will prioritize veterans over asylum seekers and social housing. It's nice that it was finally actually said. However, Restore Britain announces it will just ban foreigners altogether from social homes, putting Britons first. Yeah, that would be slam dunk. I do like some of the AI stuff. Yeah, I suspect Nigel would get his ass handed to him if that actually happened. Let's see. The situation with Reform, Restore, and Advance. Nigel hates Ben. Ben hates Nigel. Nigel hates Rupert. Rupert hates Nigel. Ben loves Rupert. Rupert's fans would deport Ben. That's probably about right. Which means they will still allow people in legally. I've said this over and over. Reform will just replace us legally. Fitting name because they reformed the Uniparty. Vote Restore Britain or be replaced. Yep. Let's see. Have I got anything else from the UK anywhere? I do have some international stuff left, but what's this one? Century Initiative. Oh, one from my friend Newsfist. Also, go and check out Newsfist at Malinformed TV. And him and Artie's... Sorry, check out Fistery on Newsfist channel on YouTube. That's every Monday. Check out Artie and Fist on Rhetorically Defective's channel. That's Fridays. And I mod for both those guys, of course. I'm not 100% sure I mod for Newsfist, though. I know I do mod for Artie and Fist on their show, and I will happily drop a banhammer on you. Don't be a dickhead. So, from Newsfist, this is another interesting tactic we see here. Politifoid is confused. I do love some of the turns of phrase. Politifoid is confused as to whether she can call Restore racist and thus ignore them. Raising nuance makes her little head hurt, so she implores Restore to simplify the black-white balance so all will be well again. Yeah. So, she doesn't even want to have a nuanced discussion. She just wants to know who she's supposed to hate. You know, it's almost like she just needs 2 minutes of it every day.
Restore Britain believe British people are an ethnicity. We are a race. We are...
I would suspect she's reading comments from somebody in the public. Nobody believes British is an ethnicity. English, Irish, Welsh, Scottish, Cornish, these are ethnicities within the nation of Britain.
A demographic. Every other political party has a nebulous view of Britain and British people. Okay, so if British people are a race,
See, now, there's a difference between race and ethnicity. So even that nuance is escaping her. European white is a race. Finnish, Swedish, Irish, French, English, Newfoundlander. These are all ethnicities within European white race. The subdivision is too much for her. Imagine what it's going to be like when she tries to add nuance to what she's currently talking about.
my stepsister is not British then. I'm sorry, I just don't... then. British people are a race. My stepsister is
Where's your stepsister from?
not British then.
Well, if she's not from Britain, she wouldn't be British, no.
I'm sorry.
She simply throws up her hands and gives up. She doesn't have the mental capacity to understand what she's actually trying to think of.
I just don't... I don't understand. If you're going to say it, just say it. Say the quiet part out loud.
What quiet part?
Okay? This is what I'm going to say to Restore Britain. Just say the quiet part out loud so we know. Otherwise, it just sounds like reform, but apparently it's not.
Okay, see, when you're incapable of holding more than one view of something, it really does a number on you. And I'm sorry, but this woman's clearly not intellectually equipped to have this discussion. The difference between ethnicity and race is the same as between pasta and tagliatelle and fettuccine. They're both pasta. They're not the same thing. But otherwise, they're essentially interchangeable. You may have a slight issue with some recipes. But she just wants to be able to call Restore racist. I think my friend Newsfist is absolutely right. I do believe she simply wants to be able to call them racist so that she can dismiss them. Which she probably did to Reform as well. And I pointed out they're so desperate for polarized thinking that they'll create it for themselves. The eternal void, yeah. And here you see why they don't want to shut down the left extremists, but they need the right-wing extremists shut down. The extremes voices the extremes. And if you want to compromise the extremists, quote-unquote, gives more runway to compromise on than if you shut them down. Yeah. Is that Eric King Greenmoon? I'm not sure. Okay. Let's see. What have we got here? Okay, we've got a couple more stories to cover before we... Hang on. I could have sworn I had at least one more thing from the UK. Yes. At least one more. Actually, I think this is probably the last thing from the UK. Yes, okay, good. This is the last of the UK stuff. I've got a couple of lighter ones to look at. Not really lighter so much as thinkers. So from English. From Rupert Lowe MP himself, Rupert Lowe 10 on X. Restore Britain will not pretend that a man wearing a dress is a woman. We're just not going to do that. We will not deny biological reality. We will not indulge this madness. Men will be banned from women's sports categorically and absolutely. Women's private spaces will be protected unequivocally. If a man enters a woman's toilet, that will be treated as the invasive act that it is. I hope that's flipped the other way as well. Biological men will not be placed in women's prisons under any circumstances, which will make the men in some prisons quite happy. Ugh. This filth will be kept away from children. Any teacher or medical professional pushing the idea that a child is born in the wrong body will be sacked and they will be prosecuted. We will not tolerate it. Any doctor found to have given vulnerable children mutilating surgery or puberty-blocking poison will be struck off and put in prison. That vile flag will be banned from public sector buildings, especially schools. I believe he's talking about the progressive pride flag. Restore Britain will protect women, and Restore Britain will protect children without apology. If you agree, I hope you consider joining our party. I would absolutely join in a heartbeat, except I'm in Canada. Trans is a subset of anti-whiteism. There is no such thing as a trans child, and that's from Shannon Oliver. Let's have a look here. Friendly reminder, no child believes they were born in the wrong body until a creepy adult deliberately puts that idea in their head. Eee. How could you tell I'm trans? Yeah. Trust the science, boy, girl. Not that science. Yeah. Genders, mental illnesses. Well, not all of them. I mean, some people are genuinely genetic freaks, for lack of a better term. And it's not intended to be rude, it simply is what it is. 90s comedy, 20s reality. Oof. Daddy, I think I'm a boy. Well, you're not. I do love that they inserted Rupert Lowe in here. I'm a woman. No. I'm English. Never. Yeah. These lunatics should try and milk this lady. Oof. That's got to be forced perspective or faked in some fashion. God damn, that's a monstrous bull. How many ovaries does a mentally ill man have? Excuse me. If the right splits, the left walks it in, yeah. What's this? Zero tolerance, silence of the lambs. Yeah. Get used to it, restore. Yeah, some of the memes that are coming out of this are pretty good too. What? No. What is this?
If you are... You cannot do that if you are divisive, if you only truly want to serve a section of our country. And that's why the fight with reform is different.
The single greatest threat.
Yeah, well, we'll leave that aside because clearly Keir Starmer doesn't understand that the portion of his country that's being fought for is the actual country, as opposed to the people that they have artificially infected the country with, for lack of a better term. Did I not just delete that? Just 1 second here. Okay. No, sorry, I was incorrect. So from Rational Posts, this is the worst case of FAFO I have seen. Now, we were talking about the COVID vaccination a little while ago. I'm just as empathic towards him, the word you're looking for is empathetic, as he was towards us. The last image says it all. I will point out this is kind of tragicomic, so yeah, be aware. So, from Wendy Gillis, the Toronto Police, this was the 24th of August, 2021, the TPA has just announced it's opposing the mandatory COVID-19 vaccinations announced today. The TPA must make every effort to protect. Ian Van Dale. Protect my foot. Take the jab or resign. Anything else is moral and ethical cowardice. Says the guy who buckled under and took his vaccinations like a good boy. You take an oath to protect citizens, you get vaxxed. Shameful that we have to say this. 5 months later, if you've booked a booster through a pharmacy, in this case Rexall, periodically try the, quote, reschedule appointment, quote, link. You might snag something on a cancellation. Just moved my appointment up a full 2 weeks by lucking out. So he was hurrying to get his vaccinations. Don't know when this one is. I, for one, advocate we bring the carrot and the stick. Incentivize getting the vaccine however we like, ice cream, lotteries, literally whatever, I don't care. And require vaccination to do non-essential things. Want to go to a bar and watch the game? Get a passport. Vaccination passport, he means, of course. And, well, This was kind of a foregone conclusion. Stephanie Hughes. I haven't been on Twitter for a while because my partner Ian Van Dale has been in the hospital since November 18th. It's with a heavy heart today that I say he was declared neurologically deceased this week and taken off life support this morning. He was 33. Now, I understand the urge to be non-empathetic. I do. But when someone is convinced that something is good for them by people who don't give a damn about them, then you should be a little concerned. And I pointed out, this is fucking tragic. And no, I don't mean that in any kind of ironic way. It's simply a tragedy. Let's see. My organic immune system looking at your altered DNA. Oopsie, believing your government. Are ya? Cheap funeral outfit. Yeah. Oh, geez, that says up-to-date vaxxer. One includes one vaccination card, one long COVID diagnosis. Well, bye. Yeah, I have a collection of them. This is bad. We're not going to bother with this. That's... I find it distasteful at best to celebrate the death of people, even through their own stupidity. Okay, now we'll start with the Canadian stuff really quick here. And I will try to go through this a bit quick. I'm probably going to curtail my gaming today. Actually, no, I probably won't. It's going to be a short gaming session anyway because it's taking me so long to get through this stuff. That's what happens when I'm off for a day. Century Initiative's charity status has come under fire. This is from Riley Donovan at Valdambre on X. Peter Stubbins of Canadians for a Sustainable Society calls on the, quote, highly partisan lobby group to give up its charity status. And the quote continues, if the response is not positive, I will contact the Canadian Revenue Agency. I am asking you in your capacity of CEO of the Century Initiative to resolve what I consider serious deficiencies in your organization's charitable status as defined by the CRA. Succinctly, your organization is primarily a highly partisan lobby group and not a charity. The issues that a charity pursues should be in the interest of most Canadians. They clearly are not. A charity should have parameters that show how its activities provide a benefit to the public. You have failed to meet most or any of the benchmarks of success that the population growth of your organization promotes is supposed to achieve. In promoting a population of 100 million Canadians by 2100, the banner objective of your organization, it has lobbied corporate Canada and its media outlets, as well as the upper echelons of the Liberal Party of Canada, including former PM Justin Trudeau, current PM Mark Carney. Century Initiative co-founders Mark Wiseman and Dominic Barton were among the lobbyists. The very high immigration levels under Justin Trudeau's government were in line with your organization's objectives, but had major negative consequences for Canadians as measured by your own benchmarks. Furthermore, the Century Initiative's agenda of mass immigration, as stated, is pushed by many prominent journalists working for leading legacy media. Its corporate annual conventions are attended by blue-chip insiders. The coalition between the political elite corporate interests and the legacy media could not be more obvious. Opinion surveys beginning in 2019 or earlier indicate that Canadians have turned against immigration as their own falling standard of living exposes how the profiteers of growth are enriching themselves at the expense of working people. Therefore, I am asking the Century Initiative to voluntarily give up its charitable status. I recognize the influence of free speech, the importance, I think, of free speech and the free expression of ideas, however reckless they may be. If the Century Initiative wishes to pursue its ill-advised goal of an unsustainable population of 100 million, it should do so as a not-for-profit organization and not on the backs of Canadians. Even under the more liberal, and I do like that he imposed a capital L there for liberal, interpretation of the Charity Act passed by the Trudeau government in 2018, a partisan lobby organization that promotes detrimental policies is not entitled to charitable status. I am writing this to you with the expectation of a response. In the interim, I am contacting interested media. If the response is not positive, I will contact the Charities Directorate of the Canadian Revenue Agency. My intention is not to be threatening. You have the option of continuing your work as a not-for-profit corporation or in other forms. Fucking get them. The Century Initiative is one of the biggest pushes behind the mass immigration waves in Canada. I'm definitely following Riley, aren't I? Yes, I am. We should create a counter-lobby organization to promote a sensible population policy. 50 million max. 50 million is too many. 40 million, which we're at now, is too many. Clearly, our system is collapsing. Let's see. From Maxime Bernier, leader of the the People's Party of Canada. We'll watch his video. It's fairly short. It's only a minute.
I want to talk to you about a number that should send a chill down your spine.
Max, if you're watching this, which I doubt, but if you are, first off, I'm a founding member, and I do continue to pay dues. For the love of fuck, man, work on your English.
8. Bill C8. The Liberals are trying to set it as a cybersecurity bill.
And that's a Newfoundlander telling you to work on your English. It's really bad when somebody who comes from a culture with the expression, "Hey, how you getting on?" is telling you to work on your English.
Don't believe them. This bill is a digital guillotine. It gives a single politician in Ottawa the power to cut off your internet with a stroke of a pen, without a warrant, without a trial, without even telling you why. They can disconnect you, and then they can gag you from even talking about it. This bill is about granting the state unprecedented authority to silence critics and control access to information. They say it's for hackers, but what about a journalist who asks tough questions? What about a protester they want to silence? What about you if you dare to criticize them? This is not just about cybersecurity, it's about control. Our internet is our voice, our liberty. Let's fight together for our freedom.
I'll also point out that at about the same time this announcement was made of Bill C8, the Carney government started talking about banning X in Canada. So if they get one but not the other, they'll still be happy. Because if they have, for example, C8, they can effectively remove X as an issue. Because they can simply cut off everybody's internet that's on X. Yeah, everybody who says things they disagree with anyway. Let's see. Yeah, I'll already bring this up. They're already looking at forcing us off of X as Canadians. Why would a government want to prevent people from having access to the largest online public space on the planet? The answer is obvious. They're planning to do something they don't want us to be able to talk to each other about. Any wise words from CBC official opposition on this? No, because they're part of the fucking Uniparty. Oh, I thought I had that at the top of my profile. My apologies. Let's see. Okay. Another reason that prices are so high in Canada is our dairy cartel, which Max actually probably ended up losing the Conservative Party leadership because of his stance on. From Table Salt, Canada dumps milk to keep prices high, bans anyone from knowing how much, then flies in Australian beef and manages to sell it cheaper than local beef, because the Canadian beef is flown to Vietnam to sell it cheaper there, all while claiming to be a climate change leader. Yeah. Me reading my own truth bomb, yeah. Oh, and we sprayed glyphosate on our forest animals. Grok, based on the above and how Canada sprays our wildlife with glyphosate and dumps sewage in the rivers, should we shut the fuck up instead of lecturing other countries? Oops, hang on. Let's see what Grok had to say. I'm willing to bet, yeah, you should shut the fuck up. Canada's policies do raise questions about consistency. Milk dumping under supply management wastes resources while prices stay high. That's kind of the point, Grok. It's called price control. Glyphosate use affects wildlife habitats and sewage overflows pollute waterways. Beef trade anomalies add to the irony amid climate claims. That said, no country is perfect. Engaging internationally can still drive positive change backed by domestic reforms. Shut the fuck up. Fucking AI is useless. Speaking of useless things in Canada, if you really believe that Canada has free speech, you're a damn fool. This from American as Fuck, the Ion Patriot. Canada has been conquered. A Canadian school has cancelled an event with an ISIS survivor, Nadia Murad, because her harrowing description of torture and rape would be, quote, offensive to Muslims and foster Islamophobia. No, a phobia is an irrational fear. When you're telling people that that the Muslims may rape your children, that's not instilling an irrational fear. That's called healthy concern. Chi-Town John. I don't think women should have any rights, and LGBT should be executed. Wow, what a complete primitive asshole you are. You must be a Republican. No, actually, I'm a Muslim, and those are my religious beliefs. Oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I hope you don't think I'm Islamophobic. Yeah. Muslims do not immigrate to the Americas to flee Islamic countries. They immigrate to the Americas to create Islamic countries. Also true. Here we are, speaking of Islamophobia. Our own Prime Minister. We'll pause this here. Mark Carney says Canada may need to limit free speech to tackle racism and Islamophobia. That's a big step. Hate is real and it can be ugly. Well, Shane, who do you work for? Business in Calgary and the Wall Street Online News. At least I think that's Wall Street. Oh, and you're a member of the LGBT. Yes, you should absolutely be, worried about Islamophobia. But once minority governments start deciding what we can and can't say, that line keeps moving. This is not democracy. This is scary. Canada has not been a democracy for a lot longer than Carney's been in office. I keep having to remind people, Trudeau said, verbatim, I admire China's basic dictatorship. Why do you think we're in bed with them?
Large American online platforms.
Large American online platforms. Now, which one could he mean?
Have become seas of racism, misogyny, anti-Semitism, Islam.
Okay, so the racism, misogyny, anti-Semitism, anti-Islamism, that's really bad. So, Canadian senators are suggesting we start using Blue Sky and Mastodon, which are known for child sexual exploitation material. Listen for the click, Mark.
Islamophobia and hate in all its forms. And they're being used by criminals to harm our children. My government will act. And today we're announcing our plan to fight crime, to protect Canadians, and to build communities that are safe, secure, and strong. A plan to make Canada secure, to make Canada strong.
Uh-huh. Secure and strong. That's what we're going to be when we're in bed with the Chinese. Sure we are. Speaking of being completely in bed with the Chinese have done us a real favor. Visa-free travel to China for 30 days. At the same time, Canada's own travel advisory says exercise a high degree of caution. So let me get this straight. This is from Mark Nixon 24 over on X. So let me get this straight. The Liberal government is promoting travel to a country it warns you to be careful in. You cannot make this up. Exercise a high degree of caution. Which is probably the highest warning it gives without saying, don't go there. Yeah. They want you dead if you're white. They don't care how it happens. China's visa-free lure is no gift, it's a trap. While they ease entry for 30 days, their CCP spies flood Canada, election meddling, secret police stations. Well, see, here's the thing. If these secret police stations are people who are here on visas or, otherwise questionable means, giving those people a 30-day window in which they can travel to China without needing a visa gets them out and back home. Let's see. Who's this from? This is from Coincidence, I think not. Michael Yan. CCP is taking Canada. China is so powerful here, they have already trained directly with Canadian forces in Canada. The five-clawed dragon is here. The five claws indicating China is staking claim. I saw many five-clawed dragons in Toronto today. For those of you who don't know, the five-clawed dragon is actually a symbol of China's royal family. Yeah. Armed agents seen a Chinese energy project in northern Alberta. I talked about this. Let's see, what do we got here? Oh, we have a Fallout meme. Liberals, always wrong, but damn pleased with themselves. Yeah. Speaking of retarded Canadian shit, let's have a look at this guy who thinks he can tell us what it means to be Canadian. If you're a non-white Canadian, please hear this. Canada is only 150 years old. No. You're very wrong. Again, you've fallen for the legal framework bullshit.
Canadian, you need to listen to this. Right, if you're a non-white Canadian, you need to listen to this. Canada is only 150 years old. I'm sure you knew that. But that...
Also, What do you figure? Alcohol? Marijuana? LSD?
That means that our Canadian culture as we know it is a work in progress.
All cultures are works in progress, you fucking asshat.
So don't let anyone ever tell you what a Canadian is supposed to look like, sound like, or act like, because that's a work in progress. That's something...
Okay, so because it's a work in progress, it doesn't exist? Listen for both clicks. Jesus Christ, you're an idiot. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Food doesn't get taxed in Canada. From JGenXer, I'll pause this here. Food has no tax, especially no carbon tax. Right. Well, let's actually look at the breakdown. And if you still believe liberals, well, you can't fix stupid. You're right, by the way, Jay. You can't fix stupid. You can adjust it with the right tools. Where did I put that mallet?
We often hear from this government that there are no taxes on groceries.
There's no GST on groceries, which is true. However,
Well, I'd like to demonstrate the reality of those taxes and those inflationary policies that are forcing food prices to skyrocket in Canada. Let's take the example of something as ordinary as a single pound of potatoes from the Heppel family farm. That potato starts in the ground. To plant it, the farmer needs diesel to run his equipment. That diesel now carries a fuel standards tax. Before the potato is even grown, policy has already added cost. Then comes fertilizer. Fertilizer production is energy intensive, which means it carries the industrial carbon tax. That cost doesn't stay at the factory. It's built into the price that farmers pay. Again, no choice. You can't grow potatoes without fertilizer. Harvest time comes, the equipment runs again. More fuel, more tax. The potatoes dug up, washed, sorted, and stored. Storage requires electricity. Processing facilities face higher energy costs, compliance costs, and reporting requirements, all of which are government imposed and all of which are passed along. Now, the potato needs to be packaged. This is where red tape turns into inflation. New federal packaging and labeling requirements mean redesigning packaging, reprinting materials, changing suppliers, updating compliance systems, and in some cases, slowing production lines. Maurizio Zanetti, owner of Zanetti Foods in my riding, told me plainly, none of these packaging changes make food safer or cheaper. It just makes it more expensive. Every box, every label, every adjustment adds a few more cents. And when you're packaging millions of units, those cents add up fast. Then the potato's loaded onto a truck. The trucker pays higher fuel costs from the fuel standards tax. Those costs are not absorbed, they are charged forward. Finally, the grocery store receives the pound of potatoes. The store didn't cause the inflation, the farmer didn't cause it, the trucker didn't cause it, but all of them have been handed higher costs, and there's only one place those costs can go. They go to the price tag. That's how inflation works. Not through greed, not through climate change, but through a steady accumulation of policy choices that make every step of production more expensive.
Yeah. I don't think I could have put it any simpler. But, you know, it's not like Kearney is concerned about food costs when he can do this. From the book you will. How the fuck, and I'm right there with you, do you rack up a $95,000 food tab on one fucking flight? One. From Anti-Boomer. Mark Kearney racked up a $94,000 catering bill. Oops, follow. I don't want to subscribe, but I do want to follow. Mark Kearney racked up a $94,000 catering bill on one flight while telling Canadians we need to make sacrifices. How do you become such a tremendous piece of shit? Well, first you had to be the governor of the Bank of England and throw out one of their prime ministers. Then you had to come back to your supposedly native country that you haven't been in for 13 fucking years, except to advise the previous and failed prime minister of how to do his job badly. And yeah, then you end up being prime minister. He has no shame. No. Everything that's free is paid for by someone who works. There is no such thing as a free lunch. And we're not actually talking about anything being free here at all, Doberman, by the way. How would you expect a prime minister to travel? On a camel or a horse? Are you fucking retarded? Boomer Fingers typed that abso-fucking-lutely. Yeah. There we go. That's exactly it. It's Winnie the Pooh and whatever his puppet is. Okay. And that makes things like this even easier to understand. people are talking about helping their kids get out of this country. Oops, wrong. Shit, did I just fuck that up completely? I think I did. Let's find out. I did, in fact, fuck that up completely. Oopsie. Well, anyway. Boomers are talking about helping their younger family members get out of this country. Can't understand why. This one is an indication that Jason Kenney's a fucking idiot. He calls Daniel Tyree a racist. Racism is immoral. It is poison. It is not, quote, vitality. It is not conservative. And what the hell does remigration mean? Forced mass deportation of people who lawfully immigrated to Canada and are now permanent residents or Canadian citizens? Bananas. Again, the legal framework fantasy of a people. And of course, then he goes on to point out that this is evidence of how racist Daniel Tyree, who's the head of the Dominion Society of Canada, how racist he is. To which I had to point out to Mr. Kenney, you know that Sikh, like Muslim, is not a race, right? No, of course you don't, because you're too busy being stupid enough to screech racism as if that will still shut people down and stop those voices that argue with you. Give your nuts a tug and your head a shake, Jason, bye. Things are about to change in this country, and no amount of lefty optics figging, as a friend of mine calls it, cheers if you read this or hear this, mate, especially by a supposed conservative, earning that Chino moniker, by the way, and it's pronounced Chino, wouldn't want to have people think I had something against China, is going to change the fact that actual Canadians are sick of progressives claiming to be Canadian is meaningless. The Dominion Society, Second Sons, PBC, we are all aiming to correct the egregious harms done to our cultures and country by people like you. The most base thing ever? Really? You're a twit. And I'm following you. Why? I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a good reason. Or was he talking? No, he's not responding to me. Yeah, okay. Let's see here. Okay, I have two more things, and then I'm out of here. Actually, I'm going to leave those two things for tomorrow, so I can end here. So this is going to be the end of the recorded segment. And before I leave, of course, I want to say thank you to everybody who's been in chat. I do believe I'm still live. Yes. Yep, looks like. So, thank you, of course, to Kalergi, Bobby B. I have to be careful with this fingernail now, because I've just thrown some more. Hang on. No, it's dry. We're good. Okay. Thanks again to everybody who popped into chat. Please do like the share, and stream the following. In any case, folks, the ways to support me have been floating by on the ticker all this time. If you haven't noticed them by now, I really can't help you. I will have merch again as soon as I can manage it. Other than that, I hope you're having a good day. I hope you continue to have good days. And as always, rise and rise again until lambs become lions. Bye-bye.